There's nothing more to hear you knocking at my door.
Hype is a dangerous thing. It's good if you time it right, but just like the stock market, it can be disastrous if timed wrong. And Yamaha, they really timed it wrong. But sometimes a miracle happens, and despite the hype being as hot as the Arctic Ocean, the release of the Tenere managed to really make some waves. The Tenere was reborn, and its flame burned stronger than ever. These are adventure bikes, which means they will spend a lot of time on the pavement. We like to think we're only going to ride like Paul Tares, but let's be honest, we know the truth.
On the road, the suspension is classic adventure bike stuff. At slow to moderate speed, it handles pretty well. Pushing it makes the entire machine feel a bit like jello. And when braking hard, the nosedive makes its presence felt quickly. Still, it makes for an overall fun experience, one you wouldn't regret.
These adventure bikes, for most real-life roads, handle better than sport bikes. They are not deterred by potholes or other minor inconveniences like craters in the road. They just glide along, making any road a fun one. And so, even when the going gets bumpy, you're still the fastest thing on the pavement.
The braking feels a bit mushy and spongy on the pavement. The calipers are Brembo, but these are Brembos that were left to pickle for a couple of years. Some would say it was intentional, optimized to give a better feel off the road. I would say they're just not as good as the competition. Will they stop you every single time without worries? Sure. Do they provide the best feeling while doing so? No.
Then you look up to your indicated speed and you see a dash that sits right at home on a bike from 2010. I am being a bit mean, you get all the information you need on it, it's just not the prettiest thing out there. You know what is pretty? That subscribe button. Now click it. Thank you. But you don't buy a rally legend for the way it goes to the local Starbucks. You buy it for this.
When it comes to taking the Tenere off the beaten path, I was actually kind of worried about its suspension. You hear a lot of people complaining about its springs being too soft. And you know what? Yeah, they're totally right. Hit any little jump, even just a half-meter one, and you're more than likely to bottom out the suspension. It's not a nice feeling.
That being said, the rest of it is actually more than decent. It's plush and takes care of most small bumps on rocks. It's compliant enough to where your front end doesn't get thrown around all over the place on a rocky climb. Look, it's not world-class suspension, but it's really not that bad either.
As long as you avoid any hard hits. Just like your wife, it does not enjoy that.
The seating position is comfy, and standing up I felt right at home. My feet had nothing in the way, the bars were really well situated, I could grab the bike with my knees when riding harder off-road. Really, Yamaha nailed this part. Kudos to the Japanese.
I wish they would have engineered my ergonomics too and make myself a little taller.
On fast single track, the Tenere is flickable, agile even, and at speed, it's more planted than a sumo wrestler in a yoga class. The engine is truly a peach. It's got tons of grunts down low, an engine note that even V-twins can't scoff at, a powerful bark generated by its crossplane configuration when taken high in the revs. Look, it's not a unit that would send shivers down your spine.
But it will pull a giggle out of you, and that's really important.
The clutch could be a bit lighter, and I will never give up my personal preference for a hydraulic unit. Lubrication is important. But as far as cable clutches go, it's light enough for short bursts of one-finger action and light enough for two fingers to not be a problem on longer stints.
I don't want to sound like the power plant is perfect, because it isn't. Or at least the fueling isn't. When coming back on the throttle, you get a classic early Euro 4 type situation. A little snatch. It's a nitpick, sure, but it is there, and you do notice it. And other bikes don't suffer the syndrome.
Definitely the best tire for sand. That's one thing. This was new at some point. It's not anymore. Mighty Tenere, best bike, best adventure bike. As you can see, everything is nice. We can camp out here.
Too much praise is a dangerous thing, and as everything, the Yamaha isn't perfect. Nowhere near that. First, it's a heavy bike. Sure, lighter than a GS, but then the Sun is probably lighter than a GS. It's no featherweight, and when you add the fact that all the fuel is stored nice and high on the bike, you end up with a heavy feeling machine at times, one that when picked up can feel deserving of its own zip code.
I'll say this every time I meet a bike like this, but it's a tall one. Tall enough to where being under 180 centimeters might pose some challenges. Do you get used to it? Sure. You also get used to herpes.
I know it's not the only offender here, and I know the challenges of lowering the seat height of such machines. But as of now, things like this stand in the way of lots of shorter beginner riders. And it's something that manufacturers do need to work on sooner or later. And when you drop it, let's just say it's not the easiest thing to pick up. In case of such accidents, some parts are also like a nudist beach, a bit too exposed for my liking. Like the shift rod just begging to hit a rock and bending it completely out of place. Or this little pump over here on the right side of the engine. Or the magnificent handguards which Yamaha, in their infinite wisdom, decided to stick on the same bracket that holds the clutch lever and brake pump. That means that if something snatches your handguard, there is a chance it could snatch away your levers or brake pump as well.
Is it highly likely? Maybe not. But other solutions do exist, and there is no reason to do stuff like this.
The steam from the disc just burned my hand.
You've been riding fast,
Too fast?
braking hard.
Yeah, boy.
But above all things, there is one particular item that gets more annoying than anything else. By far. It's more annoying than people who clap on plane landings. More annoying than getting served Pepsi when you ordered Coke. It's the stupid ABS button on the dash.
Why? Because you, that's why. Oh, and you want to put the ABS in off-road mode while moving? Tough luck. Why couldn't they just make it a button on the handlebars, like any other manufacturer? So that I don't have to stop like an idiot every time my front wheel touches a patch of dirt. And trust me, you do want it off, or you risk plowing through whatever turn comes next on your off-road adventure route. And there are the wheels. Right size, true, but they're not tubeless. I'm not going to complain about the stock tires, since they're not bad for what they are, they're just bad in off-road situations. Individually, these headaches can become annoying, but you have to remember what's the purpose of this bike. This is what a KLR 650 dreamt of becoming when it was young. A simple, reliable adventure tool. One that can take you around the world, that takes away mechanical worries from a rider, allowing you to enjoy your adventure, and it does an amazing job at it. Sure, it doesn't have some electronics or any fancy bits to it. It's rudimentary in a way, but not in a bad one. It's comfy on longer distances that will take you anywhere, and for a lot of people, that's what really matters. It also looks like it could conquer the Sahara Desert, or the Alps, or Morocco, or any place. It's like an MT-07 had a child with a rally bike. The looks of it are really stunning. And that's from the same people that came up with this face that only a mother could love. And it's affordable. Or it was affordable. When launched, this bike cost 10,000 euros. Over time, prices went up, and now you need to fork an extra 1,300 euros to get one. And it's not so low any longer. In my country, you can get a Touareg 660 for about 500 bucks more. And with that one, you get some electronics, cruise control, tubeless wheels. In the past, it was hard to argue against the value proposition of the Tenere, but lately, it's getting harder to argue for it. At the end of the day though, I simply can't hate this bike. It's just that good. It will take you anywhere with enough skills and have the reliability to bring you back. While there are things that I don't like about the Tenere, if you think about it, none of them are a fatal flaw. At its core, it's just that good of a package. In a way, the Tenere suffers its father syndrome. It's not amazing at any one particular thing, but it's pretty darn good at everything. And that's what most people really search for. This is your golden retriever. It's always close when you need it, and it will always put a smile on your face.
Thanks a lot for watching. You can check out our video on the Tenere's ancestor, the 660Z here.
Or check out this more road-focused ADV, the BMW F700 GS.
Also make sure to subscribe to this channel, and until next time, have a good one. Bye.